This is Ed Breslin. We've taken the Channel 6 Port Huron Area School District cameras on the road to Thomas Edison Elementary School, where there is a special art display. Janine Evenson, who teaches art in the Port Huron Area School Districts, is going to explain a little bit about what is going on and where all this art came from. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And if you will, just give us a little background as to how this program came to be tonight.
Well, Robin Mosher, the director of the Gifted and Talented program, asked if teachers would be interested in doing an after-school enrichment program, and I, being an art teacher, I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity to have kids get involved in an art program after school. So a few kids signed up from 3rd grade and then more from 4th and a few 5th graders, and then we started in the middle of November, and we've been running ever since this Monday, doing quite a bit of work.
We've had a chance to look around and see some of the art, which we're going to take a look around as we make our way through the evening. They're not all the same. It's not a still portrait that you put up that everybody then had to draw. Give us a little of the evolution of this evening. Okay,
well, actually it started looking back at my career. When I was in college, I was introduced to a book by a woman named Betty Edwards, and she wrote a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And it was a book that kind of talked about the basics of drawing, getting to the, not so much learning how to draw, but learning how to see and to visualize artwork. And I thought I could utilize some of those concepts from the book with the younger kids, which I didn't know would work or not, but obviously by looking at the work this evening, it shows that kids can take the basics of drawing, basic shapes, basic line studies, going into just the elements of value and seeing how that can go. And of course this transpired, and we've gone on beyond my expectations into color and doing a variety of different genres and media and techniques.
Is there a progression among the kids as well in terms of the art and the more advanced it becomes, or do you see some that sit down and pick it up, bang, and they're off and running with it, where others have to work at it?
I think for every student in this class it was a process. I think no matter if some kids came in with more knowledge per se, that they still acquired more knowledge as they left. So they progressed, everyone progressed as they had gone through the class, just again at different levels depending on the age of the student.
How do they decide what they're going to work on for their project?
Well, it was kind of a sequential process. I started off with a syllabus more or less, and we talked about, again, basic line studies, and then we went into shapes and still life. And then from there, with that, we talked a little bit about value. And some of our latter projects were delving into the figure, doing like looking at a mannequin, the wooden mannequins, and drawing a three-dimensional figure, and also working with other techniques and looking at other subject matter such as the portraits and flowers.
You actually explained earlier, too, to the parents that were here this evening, that the kids were not allowed to look at what they were drawing. They were able to look at what they were supposed to be drawing.
Right.
Tell me how that works and why.
Yeah, it's an awkward process. It's kind of an unusual way of looking at art. It's a technique that's called modified contour. And what you do in that process is that if you're going to draw your hand, you simply look at your hand and you follow the contour slowly of your hand and not look at your paper. If you do need to look at your paper, you need to stop your pencil and look down and then go back to your drawing. It's a process. To draw the hand maybe takes about 10 or 15 minutes, and it's very slow and tedious, but as you're doing it, you almost get into a daydream state. But what you're doing is that your eye is seeing what you're drawing, your eye is recording it, and your hand is kind of dictating it. So it's like a process of going in, through the hand, and out. And it simply works. It's unbelievable to see how a student can look at something and have it turn out the way it's supposed to look.
Another example, you turned something upside down and made them draw that too, which kind of would scramble my brain trying to figure it out.
Right, that's a right brain, left brain activity. The left side of the brain is more responsible for the language and dictating and the analytical part. The right side of the brain sees things holistically, and it really doesn't have a language. So when you take an object or a picture of a person and flip it upside down and try to draw it in that way, what you're doing is that you're kind of shutting down that left side of the brain that talks and says, this is not how it's supposed to be, and the part that's trying to break it down into pieces. And the right side of the brain is simply recording it, so it kind of frees the student up from having it look real or having it to be right or just in regards to like an adult standard. So it's kind of a neat process too, where again, students are letting themselves see it for what it is rather than saying, oh, this is an eye in a person. When it's upside down, it kind of fools your mind, so you're again simply recording what you see.
Was this an evolutionary process from when school started, that they began working on these projects to get to tonight? And then what happens next if this is the middle of the school year and here they are having the art show already?
Well, it didn't start until the middle of November, and it was, again, a selected group of students. It wasn't, unfortunately, all the students. It was students that wanted to take the course and were able to, and from there, what we did is we just started with the basics and moved on. And what you're probably thinking is that, wait, we still have a lot more to do, and these students are progressing, and do we stop here? But I think just like any kind of skill that you acquire, whether it be music or a sport, once you know the basics, then it's up to you to take it on to the next level. So if you're learning music, you know how to read music, maybe you can go on and compose your music then with those basic elements behind you. Same thing here. These kids have that. They feel comfortable, they feel confident in what they do, so now they're free to take that basic knowledge and move it on to those next levels where it's maybe a little bit more expressive and personal.
What kind of a reaction have you had from the parents?
Oh, it's been wonderful. The parents have been quite involved. We took a trip to the Detroit Institute of Arts, and I had just as many parents go as kids, and I've had a lot of support with doing the after-school activity, volunteers, and of course I think I've received 4 bouquets of flowers tonight, so that's pretty good. I'm very, very pleased with the support from the school and the parents and the kids, of course.
It really is. The ambiance of a big city art exhibit tonight,
Right.
and all the artists are right here for people to shake their hands and greet and meet.
And that's what I wanted to do. I know that when I've been in art shows, it's always been a wonderful feeling to be kind of the celebrity, to be the one that everybody's talking about. And this gives a chance for the kids to be afforded that same opportunity and feel like, again, they're in the limelight and celebrating what they've accomplished.
Now this group knows the techniques and the skills that you've talked about they've developed. Is there another group in the wings that's coming along, or will there be another one of these before the end of the school year that we can look forward to?
Well, actually, I've had a few people ask that, and I'm not certain about the spring as of yet. It depends. A lot of things go on for the kids after school, soccer and different activities, and I know that it's kind of a hard time of the year to do this, but if I'm here next year, definitely I'm going to incorporate this as part of my program.
And again, if you would, the after-school art enrichment program?
Correct. It's the Gifted and Talented After School Enrichment Program, and this is called Drawing Naturally.
Janine Evenson talking to us tonight at Thomas Edison Elementary School, where we have the special art exhibition underway. We will be back to talk more with some of the local artists and Principal Mary Jo Heck here at Thomas Edison Elementary School. We continue with our special evening of art at Thomas Edison Elementary School in the Port Huron Area School District. We're joined by Principal Mary Jo Heck, and this is pretty amazing, the work that is displayed this evening.
This afternoon I came down here to see how it was being set up, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, the artwork that we see here this evening is something that we would not expect from 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. It's absolutely outstanding, and I'm just so happy for the children that they had this opportunity.
Now, I know you've had a chance to talk to some of the parents because I've seen you wandering around. Their impressions, too, because they're seeing it for the first time.
One of the things they wanted to know, is it going to stay here all the time, or do we get to take it home and frame it? And we said, absolutely, it's going home. You need to frame it. It's wonderful stuff.
And the atmosphere tonight really feels like a big city art event.
It does. It's just like a real art exhibit. That's what's so exciting about this, and it's all because of Mrs. Evenson. She's just done a remarkable job.
And as typical of a Port Huron area school, this is not the only thing going on here tonight. We passed activities in the gym, so a typical busy evening at a school in the Port Huron Area School District.
If you go down to the other end, this is one wing of our building. If you go down to the other end, you will see children down there working on something called Destination Imagination, which is a creative problem-solving kind of thing that parents are leading the groups there. And last year we had a team that went to the World Finals for Destination Imagination from our school. So we have lots of after-school opportunities for children, either sponsored by the district or encouraged by the district with parent involvement.
Well, I'm sure we'll be back on that note with more events to come and cover. Mary Jo Heck, the principal here at Thomas Edison Elementary School, as we continue our evening of art at Thomas Edison. We'll continue with one of the artists when we come back in just a moment. The evening of art continues at Thomas Edison Elementary. We're going to talk with one of the artists now who has a display here, actually a couple of works of art with us this evening. And why don't you tell us your name and what school you go to, what grade you're in?
My name is Mike Child. I go to Thomas Edison School, and I'm in 3rd grade.
How did you get involved with art, Mike?
I don't know. I just saw a couple pictures at my grandpa's house, and it inspired me to draw.
What were the pictures at your grandpa's house? He'll probably be pretty proud that you said it was his art, his pictures that inspired you. Do you remember what the pictures were?
A couple of houses on a summer day.
Now, you have a couple of works of art here, and I know you've worked on them for a long time, so you know what they are. Let's talk about the one that it looks a little bit like wildlife. Tell us a little bit about that and where that idea came from.
Well, I saw it in a How to Draw book, and I like to draw animals a lot, and it sounded like a great idea to draw something like that.
Now, you have another one that's not necessarily something you'd see every day. Tell me about that one.
Well, I like to draw creative things, something back then, and I just thought of it, and I liked it.
Tell me about it. Tell me what it entails. Tell me what is in that drawing.
Well, it tells about a story about a castle and a dragon where a knight tries to fight it.
You used some color in some. You did one in black and white. Have you found a particular type of color or process you like to work with?
Well, not always, because sometimes I like to draw black and white because I can't really find the colors for it, but sometimes I like to find the colors for it, not always though.
If you were to talk to another young artist, what would you tell them about, what advice would you give them about, here you are having an art show this evening, you're one of the stars of the show tonight. What kind of advice would you give them if they're a young artist?
Tell them to draw basic shapes and start trying to use basic shapes instead of just drawing out the whole thing.
Well, we'll keep an eye. Thank you for talking to us, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Mike Child talking to us about some of his artwork this evening. We'll talk to another one of the young artists from Thomas Edison Elementary School when we continue. Just a moment. The Evening of Art at Thomas Edison Elementary School in Port Huron Area School District is where the Channel 6 cameras are tonight. We're joined by another one of the artists who has a display this evening. Can you tell us your name, your grade, and what school you're in?
My name is Carl Santa Cruz from Thomas Edison School. My teacher is Mrs. Creasel. I'm in 5th grade, and that's all.
How did you get started in art?
Well, first I have to look at the book. Then I just draw it. Well, look at the pictures, then just not trace it, but look at it, then draw it.
How hard was that to do?
It was pretty easy, not hard.
So you don't even get to look at what you're drawing, just the picture that you're supposed to be drawing?
Yeah, that's what pretty much I do.
And then what else happened in the class until you got to put your work on display tonight?
Well, it was pretty good. I felt really good about that. Well, this art exhibit is good. And
you feel like a celebrity tonight? You hear you're being interviewed on TV and your artwork's on display and everybody's here watching you. Do you feel like a celebrity?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Do you like the feeling?
Sure, yeah.
What exactly is your art tonight for anybody that may not have seen it yet? Can you tell us what it is?
Well, it's supposed to be a lighthouse, but I drew it kind of wrong, but it still looks okay because it looks like for sailors and stuff like that. Well, pretty much. That's pretty much.
Maybe we can put it out by Lake Huron for anybody that gets lost on Lake Huron. They can find the Blue Water Bridge that way.
Fine with me.
Do you have any plans for the future in terms of artwork you'd like to do? Have you thought about what your next project's going to be?
Maybe a painting of basketball because I love basketball a lot.
Now you painting it, but this one doesn't look like it was done with painting. This looks like it was.
It's not painting, but it's pastels, oil pastels. I love drawing with those. I just draw with it. My favorite thing to do.
When it comes to painting, do you do the painting by itself, or do you draw something out first and then paint it?
Draw something out and paint it. That's what I do.
All right, well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. We enjoyed your art this evening, and hopefully we'll have another art exhibit we can visit with and see your progression. We are at the Thomas Edison Elementary School in the Port Huron Area School District for an evening of art. We'll have more in just a moment. We continue our coverage of the special Evening of Art at Thomas Edison Elementary School here in the Port Huron Area School District. We are joined by another one of the young artists and her proud mother. Jewel Kovar takes time to stop and talk with us this evening. Can you give us what grade you're in?
I'm in 4th grade.
All right, now how'd you get started doing art here at Thomas Edison Elementary?
Well, first, I really liked it when I was taking the school art classes, and when I heard they were starting the after-school art classes, I decided to take it, and I decided that I really liked it.
How was after school different than what you were doing in school?
Well, it's more private, and you get to learn more stuff.
What kind of training did you have to go through to get ready to display your art here tonight?
Well, we had to do very strange things like draw our hand without looking at the paper. We had to look at our hand. And we also had to draw like a portrait upside down. And so we get the basic shapes, just not the thing that it's really supposed to be.
You picked out a hawk, an eagle. It's a bird of prey, obviously, and a very beautiful piece of work. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I drew it because I really enjoy animals and I like the way they like act, and so when I saw the eagle I really liked it, and I don't really think about the colors in drawing. I just think about how the shape is and how to make it.
Do you want to expand into any other kind of art? You did this one in pencil, painting. You said you're not really the color type artist. Are there other avenues you'd like to explore?
Not really. Painting, I don't really do very good in painting, but no.
Do you have any idea what your next project's going to be and what your next exhibition's going to be?
I'm probably going to do more animals, and I don't really like doing portraits like of people, but animals is my favorite.
All right, well, thank you. Keep up the good work, and we'll continue to follow your career. Jewel Kovar's proud mother, Anna Kovar, who you may recognize as a school board member for the Port Huron Area School District. Were you surprised by the kind of work on display here at Thomas Edison Elementary tonight?
Well, not tonight, because I had been to the classroom to pick Jewel up several times after her class. But I have to say I was shocked when I walked into the classroom for the first time and saw these pieces that looked professional. And they were working on them for just days, really.
With everything that's going on in the school district, the budget cuts from the governor, education, yes, no child left behind. It seems like wham, 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 one thing after another. This kind of makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely, and one of the things I was thinking is that my hope in all of this is that art programs like this won't get cut, that they will continue to have, if not during the day, as much art, but have a lot of after-school programs available for the children. This has just been a wonderful program, and Mrs. Evenson, the art teacher, is extraordinary. She's an exceptional teacher. She's very excited, and her enthusiasm spreads to the children as well. And Jill's dad is here as well, isn't he?
Anna Kovar, Port Huron Area School District board member, and her daughter Jewel, who has art displayed here at Thomas Edison Elementary, where it's been an evening of art, a big city feel in Port Huron Area School District. I'm Ed Breslin with the cameras on the road for Channel 6 in the Port Huron Area School District.